when you saw Apple, stock symbol AAPL, pop yesterday on the news that there was an impeachment inquiry, it made you scratch your head, because you'd think that when there's distractions out of Washington, I mean, we're not running a pure market here anymore. We're not running on earnings and fundamentals. We're running on distraction, like what's coming out of Washington, what's coming out of the global stage. The oil thing that happened with Saudi Arabia just last week, or with Iran just last week, and then with respect to what's going on with gold. I mean, there's a lot of distractions in the marketplace. So you'd think that since the market runs on two emotions, mainly fear and greed, that you would see the markets really react poorly to the fact that you saw an impeachment inquiry. Well, not so much. Now, look, I'll grant you that the Dow, the NASDAQ, and S&P did a pullback today, and the reason they did a pullback today was because the ISM manufacturing report came in at its worst level since the financial crisis in 2009. All that means, if you really think in terms of what's going on here, all that means is that the U.S.-China trade expected to produce what it normally produced very little in the way of manufacturing, and that gives fears of a slowing global economy, slowing global growth, and that's counter-cyclical to what's been going on with the market. If you take a look at the chart of the Dow, we don't have to right now, but you'll see that we've been unfettered literally since 2009. We've gone sideways for a couple of election years. But let me tell you why I think the market is going to love this impeachment inquiry. First of all, you've got a Fed rate cut that's probably going to happen more likely than not, because of anything other than inflation this time. One of the Fed's jobs is to keep inflation in check. So that's part of what's going on with this market. And when the Fed does something good like cut interest rates, or at least it's perceived good by consumers, it usually means that they're seeing something bad on the horizon. Here's why the impeachment inquiry is going to be interesting. What does Donald Trump do every time a shot is fired across his bow? He fires back. He fires back doubly hard, doesn't he? Well, can you think of a bigger shot across the bow than an impeachment or an impeachment inquiry? There isn't one. I mean, this is the highest court in the land, so to speak. Next to this is Supreme Court, and that is Congress. And you have the most powerful man in the world being the President of the United States. If Donald Trump goes to an impeachment inquiry, what do you think the first thing he's going to do is? He's going to deflect, right? Isn't that what he does? That what anybody would do? He's going to cut a deal so fast with the China deal that it's going to be the biggest economic boon to our country in terms of trade in the history of our country. He will put the pedal to the metal, and he'll be accommodating. He'll do a win-win deal. Look, I'm no Donald Trump fan. Okay, I mean, I think he's a bloviating idiot. I love his economy, though. Okay, I'll take him every single day for what he has done single-handedly in 3 years with this economy. But I will tell you, the market, who do you think wins when a China trade deal is done? Tech stocks. This is why this is going to be an opportunity. Most people think this impeachment inquiry is going to be a bad deal. It's not going to be a bad deal, not for the market. I mean, look, it could be a bad deal for Donald Trump. Regardless what it is, he's going to cut a deal. You have to look at these things in little boxes independently. He cuts a deal with China. This whole mess goes away. Now, let's face it, we're top heavy in the market, and the stock market and the economy are two separate things. They're attached at the hip, but the economy, the GDP, is the report card of how well we're doing economically speaking, okay? So I will tell you, there's going to be some opportunity here. And if you look at stocks like Apple, in fact, I can go faster than Jared here by looking real fast just because I have it in my hand here. But if I look at what Apple's doing today, Apple is only down a percentage point. But from yesterday, after going up 3%, Apple's still up 2% from what it was 2 days ago. Yeah. Come on. All right. Many times you email us, Rusty Nails, you typically email our producers and tell us that we should be talking to a certain company or industry. So we do our best to get those folks on the air. One such guy is by the name of Stephen Rossi. He's the CEO of a company called Franchise Holdings International. They are publicly traded under the stock symbol FNHI. You're looking at the website. If you are a television audience member, you can see their website right there. It's franchiseholdingsinternational.com. Kind of a mouthful there, but still interesting. They call themselves innovators. They get behind companies that build products of the future. They are in the automotive business. They're in the revenue business. They're in the technology and innovation business. And he's with us on the air using technology called Skype. Stephen, how are you, sir? Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you as well. Thanks for having me on.
So give us an overview. You've been developing companies in the automotive space, and I don't think we've ever had anybody in the automotive space in the 24 years we've been on radio and the 13 we've been on television. Talk about the automotive business. How's the automotive business doing these days?
The automotive business, I mean, some of the data, I mean, can vary from which way you might look at it, but what we participate in is the truck space, the light truck space, Ford, Dodge, GM, and we manufacture, our main investment at this point is Worksport, which is a manufacturer of truck bed covers. And to answer your question, it's the fastest growing segment in the automotive market. It's massive. It's outpacing sedans and cars. The F-150's outselling the Honda Civic. So business is amazing.
You guys are based out of Canada, correct?
Correct. Yep. Canada.
So talk about, and before we get to the company, I got to talk to the automotive industry because you're our only expert, and you're going to be the expert. So, and by the way, by the looks of your CV here, you certainly are an expert. You've got 3 U.S. patents in the business. I need to ask you, are you concerned at all overall that this battery-operated car business is going to dig into big oil and regular automotive business? Because oil is good for every country because it creates a lot of jobs and there's a lot of good things about it. At the same time, I think the EV model is great. I just think it's half-baked right now. It's not ready. It's kind of like 5G. How do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I feel that we're too far away from EV takeover for it to really be important at this point. I think that there's a lot of innovations and a lot of space to grow yet in the electric vehicle market. So I think that oil is still going to be the primary. I think internal combustion engines are going to be, the primary propulsion for trucks and cars. But I think that as lithium-ion technology or battery storage technology or life and charge cycles of batteries, develops, I think that it'll start kind of at least building a separate market. So to any extent, I believe that there's room for both.
We rarely talk about share price or numbers on this program, so I want to stay away from that, but I do want to talk about your company as a whole. Talk about, if you were to describe, to our many viewers and our listeners, if you were to run into one of them in an airport in between flights and somebody said to you, so what do you guys do? What's the elevator pitch on what you guys do there at Franchise Holdings International?
Franchise Holdings International invests in high-growth companies. We're focused less on explorative and more on revenues. We're focused on taking an investment of $1 and turning it to $1.50. So we're very much so capitalists. But the primary and single main investment of FNHI is Worksport, and it manufactures truck covers for pickup trucks. So I mean, it's fairly niche, but it's also the #1 purchased accessory for the #1 selling vehicle. The data is, what did I have here? 271 million pickup trucks on U.S. soil.
Yeah. Do you know what that translates? Have you? I mean, I'm sure maybe you do know this. Have you talked about to anybody how big your market size is in billions? Just this one, I call it the ashtray model, where you can find one thing for a car or a truck or a vehicle, and if you can specialize in that, even if it's an ashtray, you can make a ton of money because the market size for that individual single item, because of the sheer amount of cars on the road and trucks on the road, like he just mentioned, is insane. I'll give you that market size in just a second. Steven's here right there. Steven Rossi. He's the CEO of Franchise Holdings International. And Worksport, the innovator, rapidly evolving automotive markets in North America. He's going to tell you all about it. We'll talk some more about him and the company. I'm Sully. It's the Big Biz Show. Nationwide, coast to coast, TV, radio. Stand by.
Shoving all those clothes in a suitcase or in storage for the season is a real hassle. Well, not anymore. Now there's the Pack and Stack, the new portable cordless vacuum storage system, so you can pack all your clothes in half the space. Simply place any soft items into the packing bags and let the Pack and Stack do the work, taking the air out and giving you twice the space. It's small enough to fit into just about anywhere, but powerful enough to shrink down even the bulkiest items. The secret is Pack and Stack's innovative battery technology and powerful air extraction system, so you can cut the cord and reduce the bulk anywhere in the palm of your hand. And now you can shrink down and put away all your bulky winter clothes in minutes. So now your closet can go from this to this. The airline baggage fees could cost you over $300. With Pack and Stack, you can fit it all in your carry-on and save hundreds. Then take it to the hotel and save even more. The packing bags are also waterproof, so all of your items are protected from unwanted leaks or spills. So it's perfect for camping and makes storage a breeze, taking down this tower of clothes with ease.
I never discard my old clothes. I just kind of pile them up somewhere with a pack and stack. It's like having my own storage. It's simple, it's easy, and it works.
And it's so strong, watch as it crushes this can. Stop the madness of overpacking. Call or log on now and get the Pack and Stack and 4 reusable bags, each big enough to hold over 40 shirts for the low, low price of only $19.99. But wait, when you order right now, you can double the offer. Just pay a separate fee, and we'll ship it to you free. And all products have a full 60-day guarantee. So order your Pack and Stack with free shipping now.
To order Pack and Stack, call 1-800-407-7763. That's 1-800-407-7763, or go to buypackandstack.com. Order now and get free shipping. Call or go online now.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry.
Wait, have you heard about GoodRx? GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
How? I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state? Don't wait another minute. Let Tax 10,000 help you with a Tax Resolution Fresh Start program. These programs are now available to help Americans just like you stop struggling and get their lives back. They will handle all the necessary forms. And if you qualify, you may end up saving thousands of dollars. Let Tax 10,000 help you resolve your tax problems.
Call 1-800-230-2724. Call now.
It takes hours to make your garden grow, but some pesky critter has pilfered all your produce. There has to be a better way. Introducing Owl Alert, a fantastic way to target unwanted creatures today. The Owl Alert works with sight, sound, and light to zero in on nuisance critters the modern pesticide-free way. The realistic design mimics the look of a real owl. Plus, it has an ultrasonic blast that affects critters at the speed of sound. It also features menacing red glowing eyes to target pests after dark. Once animals get within range, the motion sensor activates during both the daytime and night. No more smelly and messy pesticides or poisons. Get Owl Alert today for just $19.99. But wait, call now and you can double the offer. Plus get a 25-foot pocket hose bullet. Just pay separate fee. That's 2 Owl Alerts and the pocket hose bullet. Call or click now.
Call 1-800-959-6615. That's 1-800-959-6615. Or visit byowlalert.com. So call 1-800-959-6615 now.
They voted Ben Bernanke sexiest Fed chairman ever. It's Sully and Russ on the Big Biz Show.
It's a Big Biz Show, bigbizshow.com. The car accessories market share is expected to reach $522 billion by 2022. And we're talking about everything from tonneau covers to appearance accessories to warning lights to e-seats it's amazing. Hey, Stephen Rossi is the CEO of Franchise Holdings International, and they run a company called Worksport that's in the automotive space. I have to ask you, Stephen, when you look at a company like that, because you're an automotive guy, but did you look at it as a automotive guy first, or did you realize I got this giant market, I'm going to back into this thing, I'm going to find a business that works for that? Or was it a little of both?
A little bit of both, 100%. I've always loved vehicles. I love trucks. The truck was my first vehicle to drive. But I saw a massive opportunity, an untapped opportunity. Worksport's the only independent manufacturer of truck bed covers in the U.S. That meaning everybody else all the other brands are owned by one singular entity. So I just see burgeoning with opportunity. So it's both.
My question for you is when you think in terms of singular accessories, because if you go through this car car accessory. I look at LexisNexis. I looked at Zion Market Research before I got to you today. I looked at a number of places, and car accessories used to improve a car's ability to play on the roads, and sometimes it's performance-wise, sometimes it's just to make it look better, sometimes it's superfluous, but either way, people are spending money on it. What did you guys specifically go? Did you understand the category there first, or if there was an ashtray company, or if there was a cell phone holder on your dashboard company, would that have been it, or were you specifically lasered in on this?
We were lasering in on tonneau covers. I mean, we saw a massive barrier to entry, and we love challenges. And the larger the barrier to entry, the less crowded the space is, the more we can kind of innovate and lead. So Worksport's in an extremely enviable position at this point after 5 years of hard work and growth.
Talk about being a publicly traded company. And again, I don't want to talk about share price or numbers, but I do want to talk about the fact that you are trading on a U.S. exchange, yet you're a Canadian company. Any designs in moving to the CSE, the Canadian Stock Exchange?
Yeah, we've been working on with the OSC as the regulator for a handful of years in trying to be reseated to list ultimately on the CSE. We're fairly mature in that process at this point. We're fairly optimistic that we're closer than not at getting a CSE listed. CSE listing approval. So at this point, we'll be duly listed on the OTC QB as well as the CSE, and we believe or hope at least the very near future.
I've never asked anybody this, and I think this is, and I can make the explanation, but I want you to make the explanation because you're the publicly traded company and you're the CEO. People are watching you saying, why would you want to be dual listed? What's the advantage of that?
Oh, there's a massive advantage. There's so many to list, but the type of investor that is between the OTC QB and the CSE are different, and we will be pulling at both. The liquidity resources, the ability to raise capital, the OSC as the regulator to the CSE treats CSE issuers to a much higher standard. Not a much higher standard, but we're put up against the same as big board stocks in terms of requirements to file and whatnot. So this and also to be able to raise money or have Canadian shareholders as opposed to issuing Canadians, having stock. Canadians that's right. Yeah. So there's a myriad, but I think that raising funds at enviable terms, as well as the tapping into a huge network of sophisticated shareholders, is our top two for us. Yeah, and I think one of the issues is one of the reasons why people ask me why companies go public sometimes in smaller companies. It's easy to know why a larger company like a WeWork or Tesla or Apple would go public because it's access to capital. But even with small companies, it's still access to capital, and you can use stock for currency where you probably couldn't before as a privately held company. And those are the things. Last of all, before I let you out of here, we'd love to have you back, by the way, because of your knowledge in the space. What does this company look like in the next 18 months? Are you going to go buy other, and again, I'm not talking about numbers or revenue and stock price. I'm talking about just as a company overall, more acquisitions on the way? Do you just build this work sport business to acquisition in and of itself? What are you thinking? We're in a highly acquired space. There's been a myriad. It's been consolidated massively. So we've had offers already at this point to acquire the company, private ones, not private, but informal kind of pings quite often. And we know that there's a big opportunity for us in terms of either revenue growth and earnings or an acquisition. But Worksport will continue to build its model out to being mid-market, a 9-figure valuation in itself, we hope, as we build out revenues into 50 to 100 million, which is not uncommon for brands in our space.
Well, yeah, not according to the market research here, right?
That's right. Yeah, it's yeah. And then FNHI will continue to invest in viable businesses that are going to take $1 and turn it to $1.50. And we've begun looking at some, and we have an investment in the works in the cell phone app and computer app space. So we're delighted, and we'll push information forward on that in the near future. It'll be revenue generating.
Steve, thank you so much. Stephen Rossi, CEO of Franchise Holdings International, FNHI. We just got introduced to the company. We thought we'd have him on there. We're going to have him back. Fantastic stuff, man. Appreciate that. And of course, interesting to look at the automotive business. Right? I got some news. Coming up in just a second, Tom Del Beccaro, the author of The Divided Era. We're going to talk about Wall Street,